till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the bag. Horse stock is a tag.
Hi everyone and welcome to Protocol 36. Today's video will be about the new PlayStation blog which was posted by the creative director of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales called Brian Horton, which they talk more about the game and what it has to offer. There was also a video in the PlayStation blog showcasing some concept art, one of them showing the concept art for the beginning of the trailer where Miles is using his Venom Blast on something or someone. We're not too sure of who or what he's using it on, but it looks to be in a final battle, as that scene seems to be really intense. Not to mention the suit gets damaged as well, so which usually happens at the end of a boss battle in a Spider-Man game or even in most films. There's also another concept art showing Peter and Miles swinging together. Both of those concept arts are fantastic, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a concept art of Peter training Miles to pretty much teach him new skills, to teach him more advanced skills which Miles might be ready for. I do still think that he'll be a newbie, but will pretty much be a Spider-Man that's able to still handle it on his own since he had Peter as a mentor. Both of these concept arts are amazing. I really cannot wait to see more if they reveal more in the future. I'll be picking up paragraphs for the blog which are really important for the game and really important for us to know. I know that I'm a few days late, however this was too important to leave out. Not to mention they confirmed a lot of our theories which I also made videos on in the past. One of the paragraphs reads, as we continued with the Marvel Spider-Man universe, we knew that Miles Morales' origin story as Spider-Man was something that needed its own game. Miles' multicultural background reflects a more modern, diverse world, and we wanted to give players a new story with new set pieces, fresh villains, and unique quests around Marvel's New York. This had to be a can't miss next adventure in the Marvel Spider-Man universe. So what this paragraph is trying to say is that we're going to have different types of quests and different types of missions that will be different from the first game. I also have different types of villains, which makes sense. Also, even though Miles has shared a lot of villains with Peter, he does have his own villains at the same time. I don't know if they're going to correct their own villains, but it looks like they might be pulling a lot of things from the comics. I wouldn't be surprised if a few of Peter's villains do show up eventually, like Rhino or even Shocker and etc. Right now it's too early to tell, and we have to just wait and see. One thing that's interesting is that they called it the Marvel Spider-Man universe, so I don't know what this means exactly. It just probably means that they're going to turn this into a franchise, which they already have at this point. And also, I don't know if they're going to introduce other Spider-Man and women into it as well. It'll be interesting, however, that is also too early to tell. Now the next paragraph says, let's set the scene for the game a little more. It's now wintertime. About a year after the events of the first game, Marvel's New York is covered in snow, and just before Christmas break, a war between an energy corporation and a high-tech criminal army has broken out. Miles' new home in Harlem is at the heart of the battle. This confirms one of the videos I made where we talked about where exactly Miles' Spider-Man, Miles Morales, will take place, and I estimated that it will take place around a year after the events of the first game, which to me it made the most sense, and I'm glad that they confirmed that was the case. So this means that Miles has been Spider-Man for pretty much almost 1 year. Not exactly, however almost. And Peter has been Spider-Man for 9 years. So it'll be interesting to see where Peter is in this game and why he's not really helping out. Especially as they say, there's an energy corporation going at war with a high-tech criminal army. I wouldn't be surprised if the Prowler is somehow involved or a different type of villain instead. I don't know if they're gonna save the Prowler for our next game, because it looks like they will also make a franchise for Miles. However, I could imagine the Prowler being the Joker for Miles in the Arkham universe, where the Joker pretty much popped up in every single Arkham game, even in Arkham Knight, where he was supposed to be dead, but however he was inside Bruce's head a lot of the time thanks to the Joker blood that was in Batman. Now which energy corporation could this be? Now I'm thinking it could be either two corporations, either Oscorp or Roxxon. Those two pretty much seem to be the most likely of options. However, I'm leaning towards Roxxon as Insomniac has big plans for Oscorp, as teased in the post-credit scene from the last game. So it's interesting to see that Miles pretty much moved out from his home from Brooklyn. I assume that this version of Miles pretty much lived in Brooklyn, as they pretty much described his home in Harlem new. So he pretty much lives near Peter in the island of Manhattan. So this could mean that we may not be able to go to Brooklyn, and that they will most likely be reusing the map from the last game, which would explain why it only took 2 years for them to pretty much make this game, even though it will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, which I don't mind as far as they add Queens and Brooklyn in the official sequel. Another paragraph reads, "We know a lot of you want to know how big this game is. Our team at Insomniac has worked incredibly hard to bring a fantastic Miles Morales adventure. Since we concluded development on Marvel Spider-Man, you will experience a full story arc with Miles, one that's more akin to a game like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy in terms of overall scope. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is an important, heartfelt, emotional and essential experience to expanding the Marvel Spider-Man universe, and we hope it will be for you as well." This also confirms a lot of our theories of how big the game is. We pretty much compared it to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, if you're wondering, is about 10 hours. However, Miles Morales PS5 seems to be longer than that, as it will most likely be an open world game, whereas Uncharted: The Lost Legacy was pretty much a linear game. So maybe we'll get more quests, and also we'll get random crimes like the last game, and etc. And it's also worth noting that they pretty much started development on this game straight after they finished on working on Marvel Spider-Man, which is really interesting because it shows that Insomniac probably laid out plans for the future of this franchise, which I'm really excited to see. And I really hope that this will set up more games for both Peter and Miles. Brian Horton continues to write, "It's been amazing to be the creative director of Spider-Man Miles Morales, working with such an incredible team. I joined Insomniac near the end of Marvel Spider-Man, and being able to collaborate with our team and Marvel to create a new story and experience all around Miles has been a career highlight. It's been great to also work with Brian Intihar, who directed the first game, as he continues to imagine big things for the Marvel Spider-Man universe. What they're mainly doing for this game is that they're pretty much bringing new stuff that haven't been seen from the first game, especially for Miles, as he's pretty much a completely different Spider-Man to Peter. It also mentions Brian Intihar and how he has pretty much big plans for the future of this universe, and this could potentially be a tease for what's to come for the sequel. I am willing to bet that Brian Intihar is working on it right now as we speak, as he teased at the beginning of 2019 that he's been working on the first draft of the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get an announcement sometime next year. This is one of the most important, and it's discussing about Peter Parker's fate, which follows. Oh, and one last thing. Many of you fans have wondered if Peter Parker is okay. Don't worry, we still have much of Peter's story left to tell, but this game is all about Miles and a critical part of our Spider-Man universe. You won't want to miss what happens. This pretty much confirms what all of us, if not most of us, thought, that Peter will be alright and that he won't actually die in this standalone game, since it'll be odd to kill off Peter this early, as we just pretty much met him, and also they pretty much set up so many things in the first game that killing off Peter would deal somewhat a disservice. I understand why people thought that they were going to kill off Peter, and since Peter Parker's death is a crucial part of Miles Morales' origin story, which they discussed, this is his origin story as him becoming Spider-Man. However, it seems that Insomniac is taking a new direction, which I don't mind as far as it's good. So yeah, I'm glad that they confirmed it, so that many people don't have to worry when buying this game. The last paragraph reads, "Thank you so much for the incredible reaction of our game last year, and for all the kind words on social media. We are so looking forward to getting to spend more time with you in the upcoming months to reveal more of the game we've all been working on." I wouldn't be surprised if during Comic-Con we get a reveal or another trailer or even gameplay of this game. Since we received the trailer from Insomniac during Comic-Con of 2018, just before Marvel Spider-Man came out, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same here, even though Comic-Con will pretty much take place online mostly, and that you won't be able to go to San Diego itself since what's going on with the world right now. However, that's just a guess right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they also turn up in different types of event to show more gameplay, which I'm here for. However, what about you guys? What do you think of the blog? I'll be linking the blog down below in the description, so if you want to read it or even watch the video, just click on the link in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and want more, subscribe to begin Protocol 36.